Hi, everyone. My name is Tom Kowalski. I'm by no means a podcaster. I was asked by my wife to help her with her podcasting needs, and I'm certainly not one that would go out and expend a lot of money. I'm not an extravagant spender, but I came to the conclusion that you're only going to get out of your podcasting what you put into it. So if you want to shoot your podcast with, budget equipment, as many tweaks and the things you see online that can help you, do things that way. At the end of the day, you're still going to be left with a subpar podcast. So for a minimal amount of money, and I'm not talking, $50, I'm talking in the hundreds, but you can get away with getting the right amount of equipment to set you up and make a really decent looking podcast to the point where you could say it's almost professional looking. By no means do I consider this professional yet, because I'm sure I have a lot of tweaking to do yet. But I thought I'd share some of the things that I've gotten so far. So first of all, the camera. It's the Canon G7X. I wanted a camera that was small enough that I could carry around on the road because I travel a lot. And I didn't want a big old SLR. As exciting as fun as they seem, and as amazing pictures you can take with those, from what I understand and from what I've experienced, you're carrying a big ass camera around with you, and you go to your kid's birthday party or whatever to take pictures. You're lugging around a big camera. It's almost like having another baby. It's not a lot of fun unless you're actually a photographer. Traveling, it's not fun either. And then you have this, huge extra weight. Just not worth it. So the point and shoots, the G7X Mark II Canon is probably one of the best point and shoots. It certainly costs the money. And I'll share information during this cast as far as costs and what you're going to be expecting. On top of that, I got the Joby tripods. Instead of getting a big tripod to carry, a pain in the ass, the little flexible ones with the joints, and I'll show as you see in this image. They work great. They're not super expensive, and you could put them just about anywhere. And then as far as hardware equipment, I didn't want to go out and spend a lot of lighting, so I literally found an old mag light to serve as my key light, which is the brighter of the two lights looking at me. And I have a old desktop flexible lamp. It's LED based. Both lights are LED based. And that is serving as my filler light. And in both cases, well, in one case I'm using wax paper as a diffuser. In the other case, I'm using these little microfiber sheets that you use to clean your cell phones. Makes a pretty good diffuser. So those expenses were, relatively nothing. And then on top of that, I already had Ableton Live 10. Again, you can go out and get GarageBand and all these free and cheap things, and your product will come out sounding like it's free or cheap. So you can buy Ableton Live, or and I'm not saying you have to use one or the other, but one of the top products is going to cost you a few bucks, but you'll get a lot of horsepower out of it. Same story for the movie making software. Yeah, you can use the internal movie making software that comes with Windows or your Mac. I decided to amp it up a spot. Did the research. There's essentially two versions of software that compete in this space: Adobe versus the Apple Final Cut. And since I have an Apple computer, I figured it would probably be best to have Final Cut. And so far, it hasn't let me down. There's a lot of bells and whistles and stuff I haven't learned yet. It's going to take quite a while to get there, but I'm hoping to master it. And it does seem to do everything I need it to do. So between Ableton for the sound, Final Cut Pro for the movie piece, put the two together, I can make pro quality stuff. Lights, dirt cheap. I'm probably going to get better at doing lighting, but I think this looks all right now. I am sitting next to a window, so that's going to be different with lighting day in, day out. So nighttime and daytime, we'll have to see what that looks like. So that's basically my setup. By the way, I'm using a complete Audio 6 sound interface for my Mac to go into my monitors, speakers. Right now it's USB. I'm probably going to upgrade that to Firewire or something better at some point. But so far it's pretty low latency. It allows me to plug in 2 mics. It gives me a number of channels, 6 channels to play with. And I did recently buy a mixer, also a USB mixer. Just haven't had the time to really sit down and get the right cables first of all and plug it up and play with it. But that's really the way to go. That gives me 12 interfaces. Although it doesn't play nicey with the Ableton, it's still a great way to mix in a lot of stuff, a lot of signals into your computer. And then I went years ago, or actually a year ago, I went with the MacBook Pro. I've been a PC guy my whole life. Figured I'd have to do it because that's what the sound and music and all the other creative people in the world swear by. And I've got to tell you, it was worth the money, I think. After the initial frustration of learning how to use a Mac, it's a pretty phenomenal computer. It's light. It's not small. I got the bigger one. But it is lighter than carrying a bigger, bulkier laptop around. It's just a great machine. A lot of hardware, wonderful software, and works without a hitch. I rarely reboot or have problems where things freeze up like I was accustomed to on Windows. Microphone, as you can see, is a blue. This is the Blue Spark. This is not a USB mic. This is traditional XLR mic. Needs phantom power to power it up. And I just bought this arm. It's from Rode, and which is also less than $100. But this thing is phenomenal. So I could do pretty much whatever I want with my sound. And so that's it. So that's sort of the welcome to podcasting. I know it was a lot of stuff. I'll put up, as you can see, images throughout, some prices and some links to where you can even begin learning about some of this. But I'm in it with you as you are. As a new podcaster, I don't really know doodly squat, but I'm learning, and I figured I'd share what I do already know. So have a good day.